So welcome everyone to the first day of the 28-day meditation constellations for the awakening support for the awakening. So a lot of times constellations can be deep drudging of trauma, and they can also be very supportive. The work that I do with my clients, it feels like more the support is needed right now. So I was called to do these constellations really as to support the community. So thank you all for joining, whether you're joining live or watching this on video. So what this is, we're going to do a tabletop constellation. I'm gonna flip my camera. I'm going to guide you through this. What you do need is the tabletop, quiet space, Post-its, little pieces of paper are fine, and then a pen. I'm going to flip my camera right now. We're actually going to get started. Again, please keep yourself muted. You guys have control of whether or not you unmute yourself. I will ask for shares most likely at some point. So please jump in just so we can keep this moving. All right, so there's my tabletop. All right, so we're going to take a piece of paper here, Post-it notes. We're actually going to place ourselves into the field first. So what we're going to do, we'll get some clarity here. Here we go. Write M-E. We're going to write me on a piece of paper. And then we're going to draw an arrow pointed out. That's the direction in which you are facing in the field. And we're going to draw that arrow for each part. This is going to be like a living map, okay? So we're going to place ourselves, we're actually going to place ourselves in the center here. And we're going to place our hand on the piece of paper with me. And let's take a few moments to really drop into the field even further. Begin to notice what you're noticing. Notice what comes up for you. So feeling yourself in your body. What are you noticing there? Perhaps you're receiving messages from your body right now. All there is to do is to listen. So feel your feet on the ground, noticing how that feels. Drop your shoulders back. Just notice what's going on in your head right now. Notice any thoughts, emotions arising, memories. Noticing those. Now become aware of the space around you. How are you relating to the space around you? Was there a reaction to the space around you? Also noticing if in your field something's showing up for you, just notice that. Okay, the next step, we're going to call it the outside world. The outside world. And then also drawing that arrow. We're going to place the outside world. Let's give it some space here. So let's place it up here. And placing your hand on the piece of paper representing the outside world, see what shows up for you as the outside world. So again, you're going to channel the information and energy of that which we put into the field. So noticing what shows up for you here. And then place your hand on me. And standing in your shoes, how does the outside world occur to you? And perhaps for some of you, there is a taking of a little step. Go ahead and do that. As we do these mini constellations, you'll have individual movement. And go ahead and follow those movements. I encourage you to use your own intuition there. noticing what you're observing with your relationship to the outside world. And you can also place one hand on me and one hand on the outside world and feel that connection there. What do you notice when you're tapping into both at the same time? Let's take a step closer and see how that feels to actually take a step towards the outside world. I'm just noticing what emotions or sensations arise for you. And then we're going to take a step back. So let's give you some space between yourself and the outside world. We're actually going to add the next step here. So let's add, we're going to call it my healthy boundaries. So we're going to write my healthy boundaries. With that arrow up top, we're going to place my healthy boundaries right here. And I'm going to move this back so we have some space here. So first, we're going to place your hand on my healthy boundaries, and let's see what that is for you. Now, allow this to show up as it is. Some of you may be imagining a space of blue light. So perhaps there's a sphere of healthy boundaries of Archangel Michael's blue light. Some of you may imagine the archangels surrounding you. So imagine this sphere of protection. And I want you to feel back into me as you do this. So one hand on my healthy boundaries and one hand on me. So noticing how this unfolds and morphs into a completely, fully protected sphere of boundary, of protection, of filter. Allow them to show up, whatever it is for you, your healthy boundaries, allow it to show up and completely surround you in that space. And now standing in your shoes, so putting your hand on me, speak to yourself or out loud. Only the energies that are in my greatest good can pass through. Giving that intention. Only the energies that are in my greatest good can pass through. As you say that, you can feel back into how you relate to the outside world. And perhaps you say that again, only the energies that are in my greatest good can pass through. Noticing if that shifts how you relate to the outside world. Now, let's experience this. Let's experience in the field our sphere of healthy boundaries. So we're actually going to take both my healthy boundaries and me, and we're going to make a movement of circle. So let's actually look through your healthy boundaries in your field. So actually making a movement, a full circle. Feeling into your body, so feeling into you, noticing how that feels. Seeing through healthy boundaries, what do you notice? Does the world look differently? Only the energies that are in my greatest good can pass through both ways. So making that full circle movement. Perhaps there are different things that you're noticing that are showing up as you make this movement. Notice how far, how distant you're looking. Perhaps you're looking close at times. Imagining your healthy boundaries extending out over the world, over the universe. And as we come back full circle, let's actually do that. So imagining you're seeing your healthy boundaries completely surrounding you in a sphere and expanding that sphere to cover your entire field, to cover the entire universe. And you inside those healthy boundaries. Let's take a nice deep breath as we rest in that. Again, checking back in with the outside world. How does that feel to have those healthy boundaries? For you, feeling into where those healthy boundaries need to be right now. Perhaps you want a little bit of a space. Perhaps you don't require as much space. So noticing. Okay, we're going to go to the next step. Let's actually we're going to bring in love, because why not? Love, compassion. And we're just going to bring in this right now, and then we may add to this. So let's bring love and compassion. Let's place this next to me. And placing your hand on love and compassion. Let's bring that into the field. Feel how that feels. And then place your hand also on me. So feeling yourself connected to this love and compassion. Notice how that feels to feel connected to love and compassion. And then placing your hand on the outside world as well. So you can have one hand connected to me, love and compassion, and the other connected to the outside world. Feel yourself sending love and compassion through healthy boundaries to the outside world. And also feel that being reciprocated in its own way. Just noticing what you're noticing. And again, perhaps some of you, your healthy boundaries are still there. They will always be there. Now that we've integrated, we've brought them into the field. So just noticing where they are for you. Perhaps there is a closer step to the outside world, carrying this love and compassion. Experience how your healthy, the sensation of your healthy boundaries will shift. And I encourage you right now to add for yourself on love and compassion. I'm going to actually add grace. And I'm also going to add service. So feel into your field, feel what you want to add. And please do that now. So when you add that, let's feel how that shifts this part. So feeling into that first. Notice how that changes. And as you do constellations, you can add whatever feels like it's missing, quote unquote. Feeling into both of these parts. So feeling into me and feeling into whatever you wrote here, love, compassion, grace, and service is what I wrote in here. And now feel yourself giving that through these healthy boundaries to the outside world. And you can place your hands in whatever formation on all four of these parts, feeling the connection, feeling the energy exchange, giving and receiving. So receiving that as well as giving that. It feels like there's a lot of healing going on right now. And when you place your hand on the outside world, really receive that for them, for it, whatever that is for you. And then that exchange, really receive that standing in your shoes as well. All right, let's go to the next step. Let's add gratitude. Now, some of you may have put that over there. We're gonna also put it in its own, as its own part. So gratitude, again, with that arrow up top. And let's place that next to me. Let's first feel into gratitude. Perhaps gratitude is doing something like bowing, whatever that is for you. Notice, how does that feel? How does it feel to add gratitude into your field? So feeling into that, placing one hand on gratitude and one hand on me. What do you want to do with gratitude? Perhaps there are words to say. Some of you may feel like you want to actually integrate these parts with you. When we integrate, you can actually just place this underneath you and feel how that feels to have that within you. For now, we're going to just look at it. So if there is that movement for you, please make that movement. Let's feel how that feels to have gratitude, to be with gratitude, and perhaps also exchange that gratitude through the healthy boundaries. Let's also do this. Now that we've seen our healthy boundaries and put them into our field, they are there. Let's actually place them aside. So we're going to place them over here. And I want you to feel back into me, feel back into your healthy boundaries. Notice they're still there. See them spreading. See them fully encompassing you. They're still there. And then connecting again with your gratitude, love, compassion, grace, service, if that's there for you. Looking at the outside world. How does it feel to be in your body? With the love and compassion, gratitude beside you. Through healthy boundaries, being with the outside world, being connected. We're going to add the next thing here. So let's add, we're going to call it support. Now, support can show up many different ways for you. So we're going to put support in that arrow. We're going to place support behind us. Now, support can actually spread all around you. So notice what shows up for you. So support could be showing up as the ancestors, as our helpers on the other side, our partners on the other side. So let's just take a few moments to see what shows up for you. It could be resources in some way. It could be your ancestors actually giving you resources. So feeling back into me as well. So one hand on support and one hand on me. And that feels like we're going to actually let's turn me around and look at our support. So let's take a look at it. So the field's wanting us to see what hasn't been seen, hear what hasn't been spoken, and listen to what hasn't been heard. So let's actually look at our support. See if there's any messages from your support to you. Ask them if they have any messages. And just receive those messages. Perhaps there is an energy exchange for your greatest good. Receive that. Asking for them to continue to work on you for your greatest good after this constellation, and healing, support, guidance. Perhaps there are some words of guidance. Okay, now we're going to turn you back around and feel the support behind you. You can place one hand on both support and me, and then let's also feel into the outside world. So adding the support to your field, feeling the support. How does the outside world feel to you now? Also presencing your healthy boundaries. Noticing how that remains in your space. And we're going to add one more thing here, guys. Let's add the awakening. So that which we are experiencing now, the awakening. And then we're going to draw that arrow. Let's place the awakening. Let's place the awakening up here. So we're going to feel into the awakening first. Feel that enter the field. Perhaps that was here for you. You were sensing it. So we're bringing it into the field so we can take a look at it. So we can really be with it. So placing one hand on the awakening and one hand on me. And perhaps for some of you, there may be a movement to actually look at the awakening. So please make that movement, see it. I see you. Perhaps that's there for you. If there's a communication, please say it now. Also feeling a lot of energy exchange there. Again, noticing the support. So feeling the support all around you here. Let's receive from the awakening. Asking the awakening if there is a message for you. The last movement we're going to make, let's go ahead and place you back. Let's look at the outside world again. We're going to do like a full hand situation. So let's really connect with everything in the field right now. Just placing your hands on here. Feel the connection. Feel the oneness. Feel the oneness of the field. Parts of a whole, parts of a whole, parts of a whole. The oneness. And the last movement we'll do is just we'll place our hand back on me. Again, feeling the support around you. Connected to the awakening. Feeling your healthy boundaries. Feeling yourself fully embodied. Feet on the ground. Take a nice breath. And let's again feel the gratitude, love, compassion, grace, service that we have today with us. All right, guys, I think we're going to end it here. Can I have one person share what their experience was?
I heard to have faith when I was listening from my guides under support. And I saw just an open field. And I placed support under the awakening.
Mm. Wonderful, thank you. And thank you for listening to your intuition and following your movements in that as well. So thank you guys for being, I'm gonna flip my camera. Thank you guys for being on this day one of the 28 days. Please, if you feel called to, leave this constellation out and you can feel into this constellation throughout your day or your night, wherever you are. And we will see you tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific time. All right, guys, have a good one. Thank you.